Well, good afternoon. It is Wednesday, January 29th. So happy hump day to everybody out there. We're over the hump and sliding into the weekend. So, yay, how exciting for us. So, anyway, yeah, some Schittler news, I guess. There's a lot of confusion going on in the administration. They're now backtracking on this big freezing of funds, and Trump just thinks he can go around and cut funding that's already been appropriated by Congress. The hope was this term he was a little bit more prepared than the first term because that was a shit show. I don't think they expected to get elected, but that's in the past. This is now. I think with Trump's shock and awe campaign of just flooding everything with executive orders, and it's really hard for the plan was for it to make it really hard for people to stand up against things because there was so much stuff coming out. But in their haste, I think that they, didn't go about it the right way, and court challenges were expected. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the economy and tariffs. And tariffs have been talked to the cows come home, and there's a lot of confusion out there, and people don't really know what tariffs mean. So, once again, I'm a Canadian, and this is just my little perspective on things. February 1st is Saturday, and according to Trump's really competent press secretary, Saturday, February 1st, there is tariffs coming to Canada and Mexico. Now, they've been announced and they've been said 25%, but we can't, until things are actually signed, everything that we're going on is speculation. But we'll base it on the 25%. This is going to be really serious. The Canadian politicians are already talking about, pandemic style relief packaging to help businesses and to help Canadians. Lots of job losses are going to happen in Canada, and it's going to be a pretty shitty time. But also as well too, I think in terms of America, it's not going to be a good situation for them, right? Let's talk about a couple of things, right? So if he goes with a 25% tariff across the board, that includes everything, including energy and steel and everything along those likes there. And as much as the American president and the American population in general thinks drill baby drill is the solution to everything, it's not. Canadian oil is Western Canadian Select, right? It's sold at a discount on world markets compared to West Texas Intermediate, which is the oil that America produces, and Brent crude, which is oil that's produced in Northern Europe. Different types of oil, all sold at different prices on the world market. Now, Canada, Alberta in particular, has made it in such a way that the majority of our oil gets shipped down to the south, and the refineries, Midwest, mostly, some on the Gulf Coast, some on the west coast of California, they're tooled to refine Canadian heavy crude. Well, I shouldn't say Canadian heavy crude in general, because Venezuela also produces a similar type of oil, and we all know how great of a country Venezuela is. But anyway, so all the refineries are tooled for Canadian oil. It doesn't really make much economic sense, because if you think about it, Western Canadian Select sells at a discount, typically $10 to $15 a barrel cheaper than West Texas Intermediate. So what America does is they pull all their oil out of the ground via traditional drilling offshore, and fracking. Fracking is the big one. And so they sell their oil on the international markets, get West Texas Intermediate pricing for it, and then they buy Canadian oil at a discount. So they're selling their oil for a profit, buying cheaper Canadian oil, processing that into gasoline, aviation fuel, all the other petrochemicals that we as a society use. If these tariffs come in, the reasoning is, or not the reasoning, the word is that there's going to be an immediate 75 cent a gallon increase in fuel prices, gas prices in America. That doesn't bode well. California, LA needs to be rebuilt. They want to put a 25% tariff on Canadian soft lumber. Well, Canada imports a lot of soft lumber into the United States, so that's going to add additional costs on top of rebuilding the city. New home construction, same thing, right? Canadian softwood plays an integral part. Steel, aluminum, rare earths, minerals, things that you need for defense, electric battery, everything. Like, I mean, Canada is a resource-rich country, and a lot of the resources we have, America needs, and there's just no way around it. Yeah, you could retool your refineries, but that's going to take longer than Trump as president if he gives up power, right? And the capital investment involved with that is going to be absolutely ridiculous. So no oil companies or refineries are going to be like, oh, okay, well, just doesn't make sense to make the changes and everything. There's a lot of talk about electricity being cut off from Canada to the States. Oh yeah, okay, could happen. Doubtful it will, but it could happen. That's nearly not as impactful because there is still capacity in the American grid that they could transfer over to cover. I mean, be it inconvenience, and it would, pose some damage, but not to the extent. Oil is the big one. Agricultural products is another huge one. There's just a lot of things. Car manufacturing, that's another one as well too. Oh, we don't need Canadian cars. Well, here's the thing: the cars that are made in America use parts that are sourced from Canada, parts that are sourced from Mexico. There is no such thing as a truly American car, right? They're all made by parts made throughout the world, right? So you're going to add a 25% tariff at every single stop along the way. That's going to increase, what I read in the news yesterday, $5,000 increase, average increase for the price of an automobile. That's just absolutely crazy. I'm not sure what his end game is. All right. Now, and I'm just talking Canada. If Mexico has a similar plan come Saturday, with retaliatory tariffs, American consumers are going to be in for a really rude awakening come Sunday, right? It may take a while for the price increases to happen. Some of them are going to be immediate. Some of them may take a while, but they're coming. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't understand what the logic behind it is. And then everyone's, Trump in particular, is talking about how shitty the trade negotiations, how America's getting beat up in trade negotiations. Well, Canada, America, Mexico are currently operating under a free trade agreement that Trump negotiated himself his last term. And if it's such a shitty trade agreement, is he taking ownership for that? No, he's not. All right, people have short memories. They don't remember this stuff. That it was him and his administration who negotiated this. Now, is this a negotiation tactic because the trade agreement is due to be renewed in 2026? That's what I think it's leaning towards. But, instead of being a diplomatic adult about it, and saying, hey, these are their concerns, we want to discuss, no problem. Border issues, okay, hey, great. You know what? Strengthening the Canadian-American border, no problem. I agree. But it's a two-way street, right? He talks about illegal immigrants and fentanyl coming across the border, which are serious, but in relation to the southern border, what happens in Canada is minimal. But from a Canadian's perspective, I think it's a wonderful thing as well, too, because you know what? There's a lot of illegal guns that come through the American border into Canada. There's a lot of drugs as well that comes across into Canada. And, these are issues that I think as Canadians we'd like to see resolved. Holy crap, it's been 9 minutes already. You know what? I think I might do 2 videos today because I have a train of thought that I want to continue talking on. Price of eggs is one of them. So I am going to upload this one, and then I'll do another quick video, and that will be my videos for the day. So I'll be back in a minute.